You're about to listen to the Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast. We cover weird things, but part of that may include adult themes and content. We'll be talking about things like butts and boobs, and there will be swearing. It's kind of what we do. If there are any kids in the car, you may want to change the channel. Thanks, and enjoy. Hey, sweetie, what can I get for you?
Do you have any of today's specials left?
The weird? Oh, yeah, we got lots of weird.
And can I get that with bacon?
Sure, weird with a side of bacon, coming up. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast. I am one of your hosts, Trevor. On the podcast, we're going to talk about everything weird. If it's history, facts, social media, the world news, we're going to try to cover them all. So again, I'm Trevor. I will be the one who is covering weird facts and weird history. And Stephanie?
I'm Stephanie. I will be doing weird social media awkwardness.
I'm Misty, and I am going to cover the weird news from around the world.
All right. So now everybody knows who we are. That's great.
Do you have any weird stories? I got no weird stories of the week.
Weird stories of the week?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I do, actually. I attract weird things to happen to me. Okay. So weird story. I was at the gas station. This was somewhat recently. At the gas station, I just gotten off work. So I am like wearing my dress pants and my dress shirt, looking professional. I'm putting gas in my Toyota, and seems pretty normal. Then a little old lady and a little old man park in their spot next to me. And then a little old lady comes out of the car and she comes out to me. She's like, "Excuse me, sir." I'm like, "Yes." She's like, "Do they take cards only here, or can you use cash? Can you pay inside?" I was like, they just changed these to card only. I'm sorry. It's like, okay. I think that's it, you know. She walks away, but she's telling her husband, whose car door's window is rolled down, he's driving. And as she tells him, he looks at me, gives me this finger and says, "You can keep your fucking gas." And the two of them drive away.
Was he as old as she was, or?
Yes. This is just a little old couple. Like, I don't own the gas. I don't know what it was that he thought that he had to tell me about the gas. I can keep my fucking gas. It wasn't my gas.
Maybe you didn't dress correctly. Maybe you shouldn't look like a gas attendant.
I guess that's where I went wrong.
Or apparently he does look like a gas attendant wearing, professional clothing.
Hey, back in their day, people used to come out and fill their car, and it was cash only. So maybe that's what he thought you were doing.
Maybe if I would have filled up his, he would have tipped me.
See, next time this happens to you.
I might have a side gig figured out. I could be making big bucks. Why am I wasting my time with a regular job when I could be filling up people's gas tanks for them and living off the tip money from little old guys who told me to fuck off?
And give you the finger.
All right. So let's get right into the weird content, though, because that's why everybody's here. And we are going to start with Stephanie. So, Stephanie, give us some awkward internet.
So this is a story I found on Reddit. It is from the subreddit, Am I Overreacting? The title is, Am I Overreacting? Caught my boyfriend taking a number 2 in his hand.
Oh, boy.
I like how we're all just laughing.
Can you underreact to that? And be like, hey, that's fine. Like everybody does that.
Did he throw it at the window like the gorillas do at the zoo?
Oh my God, is she dating a monkey?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Let's get into it. Maybe she's dating a monkey. Let's find out.
Maybe he is part monkey.
I mean, we're all Homo sapiens, I guess. So I think
evolution, man.
Evolution. Yes. I mean, if you really think about it, I used to throw. Anyway, okay, get into it.
Okay. My 26 female boyfriend, 36 male, of 2 years was in the bathroom at his apartment when I opened the door to grab my allergy meds. I didn't think to knock and figured he'd lock the door if he needed, but when I opened it, he was squatting on the floor while holding a wad of toilet paper directly under his ass. I screamed and ran out. 5 minutes later, he called me. There was no denying what I saw, so he came clean and says he does it to make less sound as opposed to crapping directly into the bowl because he's shy and would be embarrassed if I heard him doing it. I'm freaked out still. Am I overreacting?
Okay. Wouldn't you at least lock the door? You're like, all right, I'm going to take this from a 2 embarrassment to a 10. Maybe I should lock the door.
Or maybe give her a heads up, like,
I'm going to
hey,
poop in my hand?
No. I mean, like, hey, I'm going to be in the bathroom for a little bit.
Or you buy a sound machine.
Or you
Play music.
You turn on the fan. There's that's one of the reasons that, okay, you can buy fans for your bathroom that are super quiet. But do you know what people never do? Buy fans that are super quiet because it covers the sound of dubuque. So yes.
I was just thinking, bloop.
Bloop, plop.
So yes, that's the whole reason for those. Maybe just turn on the fan instead of shitting in your hand.
Hey, at least he had the toilet paper, though.
You know, you gotta look on the upside.
Well, maybe for Christmas she should buy him some rubber gloves. Just saying.
I would be the worst person to have ever caught someone doing that because I would never let that go. I would bring that up over and over again. You're right. It would be Christmas gifts. It would be comments in the bar. Poopery. Oh man.
I'm gonna buy a bedpan.
Oh yeah, bedpan. I would be
An
terrible.
enema?
I'd be terrible. We would
Coffee enema?
we would be at the bar and they'd be like, "Hey man, can you get me a beer?" I'm like, "Depends. Did you shit in your hand lately?" I'm that person. I would just say stupid stuff like that because I would not let it go because I'm a terrible, terrible person. So, I think that definitely counts as weird. So
It's a little fucked up.
it's a little fucked up. I would say it's a little fucked up. I feel like we that is more than enough poop talk for now. I will go next. Let's see here. I am going to go with. All right, here we go. I'm going to call this one. You need to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Okay. This is a good example of sometimes you need to learn when it's time to give up. So I'm going to put down sources because I'm doing history and facts. This one comes from Wikipedia. It comes from 1,144 Random, Interesting, and Fun Facts You Need to Know by Scott Matthews. It's a book. And also it comes from an article from BBC back in 2010 when this happened. So there's a guy whose name was Sogen Kato, who was thought to be the oldest man in Tokyo until 2010. When officials from the government came to his house to wish him a happy 111th birthday. The problem was when they got there and realized something seemed suspicious and looked into it, they found his mummified remains and that he had been dead for 32 years because he died in 1978 and his family was just collecting his pension.
Oh.
So yes, for 32 years, this guy was mummified in a bedroom, and his family said, let's just keep kind of collecting this pension.
Did they get it from Bates?
From Bates? Oh, Bates Motel joke. That took me a second. It really did. I was very lost for a second. Like, I don't know what that means. But now I do. So the family, in the end, defrauded the teacher's pension from Tokyo about $118,000 US. And this is my favorite part about it, is that he also received $118,000 US money between 2004 and 2010 from his wife's passing at 101 years old as his widower's benefits. So he died in 1978, but they decided, well, I might as well get the widow benefits from his wife dying too. Jesus. Yeah, so that's when you are now supposed to be the oldest person in the entire country. Maybe it's time to give up that he's still alive before the government shows up to celebrate his birthday and congratulate him for being the oldest man.
And all they found were bones. Happy birthday. Oh.
So my question is how much trouble did this family get into? Because I feel like that's like holding a dead person hostage.
You know, I did not get into the criminal aspects of it. There's obviously defrauding of the pension. Holding a dead body, I don't really know, but I am pretty sure there's a couple of different laws broken if dad dies or grandpa dies and you just leave him in a bedroom. Allegedly, the grandkids didn't know, by the way. So the grandkids were always like, that's grandpa's room and he's grumpy and he doesn't come out to eat meals. They were just always told that their whole life.
How much did they have to pay back?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess $118,000 for
Times
his
2?
benefits and $118,000 for his widow's benefits that he also received.
Plus interest.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get him on the interest. That's where they get you, is the interest. That's where it is. So, but yeah, that's my first weird history. Misty, what do you have for us?
Oh, I have one that totally outbeats that.
Oh, here we go. What do you got for me?
Bring it on, girlfriend.
I have a Greek guy that likes to break into his neighbors' homes and smell their shoes. That's right. A 28-year-old Greek gentleman would break into his neighbor's house and smell their shoes.
Is that weird?
I thought that was normal.
Well, it obviously maybe is not normal. The neighbors did finally reach out to the family and ask them to tell him to stop.
Maybe it's a cultural
After how many
thing.
times of catching the guy?
I didn't really say, but it's a little weird because I feel like maybe he has a foot fetish.
You think?
Or
So was
sex-
it men's and women's shoes or just like women's shoes?
All shoes. Kids' shoes, dirty shoes, men's shoes. I bet you he smelt the dog shoes.
I wonder if he sells feet pics.
I don't know, but
OnlyFans.
maybe he should just work at Foot Locker or something to smell new shoes if that's his case.
All right, here's my question. Is this a sexual fetish? And is it even weirder if it isn't a sexual fetish?
I'm going to go with it's not a sexual fetish.
Well, he did end up getting arrested
Mm-hmm.
because the neighbors finally have had enough of him because he'd walk into the front yard and smell their shoes on their front porch. So they called the cops on him. Yep, that's right. Shoes.
But he only did it to this one set of neighbors. Like,
That's my guess.
that's
I don't
weird
know.
because you would think that if he has some sort of like fetish, that he would go to like,
A lot of people's houses.
yeah.
This
Once
is
he got caught breaking into this first neighbor's house, you would think that.
well,
So there had to
Uh,
be an
maybe-
obsession
maybe
with something
he
with the
didn't
neighbors.
get caught with any other neighbors, and this neighbor is the one that just constantly caught him. They caught him once, and they kept trying.
This neighbor has the first Ring doorbell in all of Greece.
That could be.
This is the neighbor's
Nobody
like,
knows.
we should get one of these Ring doorbells. Who knows what we'll catch? Maybe we have people stealing packages, and then this happens. That's a new advertising for Ring doorbell, just in case your neighbors sniffing
Smell your shoes.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
All righty. Well, let's go back to you, Stephanie. What do you have going on for weird?
I have another Reddit story. This is from Petty Revenge, and the title is My Roommate Never Wants to Wear Pants, so I made sure his crush saw him in his underwear.
What? Okay.
I hope they were Superman underwear, because that'd be really fun to watch.
Superman.
All right. So
He just comes out ripping off his shirt
but he's wearing glasses, so they don't know he's Superman.
until he tosses him.
Like, oh my God, it's Superman.
Isn't
I
that
could
what
s-
Superman does? Like when he's changing into Superman, like he rips off the.
He goes into the phone booth. He goes into a phone booth. He does a little spinny, I think, and then he comes back out.
It's been a long time since I've watched Superman, so I couldn't remember.
Well, anyway, so Petty Revenge. Here we go.
All right. I, 20 male, share an off-campus apartment with my roommate Dan, 20 male. Dan's a college athlete, so he's in great shape and clearly knows it. For whatever reason, he insists on walking around the apartment in nothing but his underwear. Specifically, tighty whities.
Oh, that is
but in different colors.
So tidy non-whiteys, I guess.
One of them must be tidy whities, but he has, a different color for each day of the week.
Okay.
It's like he's trying to make some kind of statement. I've told him a bunch of times it's uncomfortable, but he just shrugs it off and says, it's my space too. It's gotten to the point where I just try to ignore it, but it's definitely weird when we have guests over. Dan usually disappears into his room when people come by, so I guess he thinks that makes it okay. Anyway, the other day, a girl Dan has been crushing on came over to hang out. She's in one of his classes, and I think this was the first time she's ever been over. Dan didn't realize she was there because he was in the kitchen, of course, in just his underwear. Bright red ones this time. When he heard her voice, he panicked and yelled for me to grab him a pair of pants from his room so he wouldn't have to walk through the living room where she was sitting.
Oh, no, you don't. You don't at all.
Oh.
You tell him to fuck off so hard. Like, maybe you should have listened to me a long time ago.
I told him, if you're so comfortable walking around like that all the time, why does it matter now? He got mad and begged me, but I refused. I said he made his choice and it wasn't my problem. He ended up having to walk through the living room in front of her to get his pants, and she definitely noticed. She didn't say anything, but you could tell she was trying not to laugh. Dan was furious and accused me of sabotaging him on purpose. I think it's fair to say he brought this on himself. If he's fine walking around in his underwear all the time, why should it matter now? But he's still mad at me saying I embarrassed him in front of her.
Want what you got.
Maybe he doesn't have much, and that's why he got all paranoid about her seeing.
Ooh, that's actually a decent point. If this guy's so proud of how he looks that he wants to walk around his roommate and other people in just his underwear, apparently he's not too proud. But what the heck? Oh, that had to feel so sweet, though. That's got to be just beautiful, beautiful revenge.
And I can understand if you want to walk around without a shirt on, fine. But when you're coming out of your bedroom, throw on a pair of basketball shorts. How hard is that?
He was Tom Cruising it.
To an extent, yeah, because he didn't have the button-up shirt, though.
Oh, well. Probably not the knee-high white socks either, but,
True. The top comment is, ask Dan if he's trying to hit on you by being almost naked all the time. Make it awkward.
Wow. Yeah, I think that would have been great. Oh, God. The guy who wrote this, the smile on his face as this guy's literally begging him to go get him some pants and be like, oh, let me lick your tears. This is beautiful. I would totally have loved that.
you would.
It's another one of those where I am anxious to see an update happen.
An update? Yeah, you think he would comment.
To find out if he continued to wear
Just underwear?
just underwear, or if he finally learned his lesson, or if he moved out.
Yeah. I will throw out another one. The title of this one, we'll call it There is Cheap and Then There is Really Cheap. Okay? So this one comes to us from Wikipedia. And also, again, 1,144 random, interesting, and fun facts you need to know by Scott Matthews.
A kid's book?
It's not a kid's book. It's a fact book. It's knowing facts.
Okay.
I like to verify what I say, so it's not just some random thing. I can't call it a factoid if I don't make sure it's a true fact. If something's a false fact, is it a fact anymore, or is it just a falsity? Can it be a false fact? Is that an oxymoron? I have no idea. Okay. All right. Let's get back into this thing.
Yes, please continue with your resources from a children's book.
All right. In 1973, American billionaire J. Paul Getty was known to be so cheap, but the biggest one is that he refused to pay a $17 million ransom when his grandson was kidnapped. And this kid wasn't kidnapped by just some randoms. It was like a legit Italian gang. This guy was in Italy for whatever reason. A known big thug Italian gang grabbed him, kidnapped him. Everybody knew. So this wasn't some like bullshit dicking around. This is the real stuff. So he refused to pay it. After some time, he received in the mail a severed ear that allegedly was from the grandson, which was delayed by many months because of a postal strike going on in Italy at the time. They lowered the demand to $3 million. So apparently these guys are willing to negotiate, which, I mean, good for him. I guess he held out and saved $14 million
For an ear.
for an ear. That was a very valuable ear. Like,
I want to know how the ear came. Was it like wrapped, or did they just stick it in an envelope?
How did it get past customs?
There was no customs, I'm assuming, at that time.
It is 1973. I don't think they scanned for ears in the mail in 1973.
Maybe not.
You're right, though.
But even if they did,
I don't think you can get flat rate. I think an ear is too bulky for flat rate. You'd have to get
so
a
they
box.
had to pay extra.
They had to pay extra, I think. So anyway.
But
So-
yes, going back to my original thought, was it wrapped? Was it not wrapped? Did they just stick it in the envelope and send it on its way?
I was not able to verify the condition of the ear upon arrival.
Can you imagine?
Was it on ice?
Yeah.
I don't think it was on ice. I don't think they were looking to have that ear put
Well,
back.
then it had to have been mummified at some point.
Well, it was. It was mummified, sitting in a pile of mail during the Italian postal strike going on. So yeah, it did mummify.
Look, somebody sent me beef jerky.
By the way, it was verified that it was his ear. Eventually, that was not some bull crap. That was really his ear, this kid's ear. And I say kid, but I think this guy was like somewhere in his 20s. But either way, a young dude being kidnapped by Italian mobsters or gang. So anyway, they lowered their demand to $3 million, which he agreed to pay. But in the end, he only paid $2.2 million towards the ransom because that's all he could write off on his taxes. And the other $800,000 he gave to his son as a loan, but charged 4% interest. And that, my friends, is being really freaking cheap. But it paid off. He went from $17 million down to $2.2 million, and the rest he just loaned. The rest was all on loan. They charged interest to his son to get his grandson back. This is a terrible person.
I feel really bad for this kid. He's probably freaking traumatized. Did they ever get him back?
What was the outcome of this?
I wasn't going to do into it because it is not fun and friendly, but the kid did not do okay after. They did get this kid back, but this kid was really fucked up. And it was definitely Grandpa's fault. But Grandpa saved $14 million, so, there's that.
Yeah, because that's the importance.
Okay, I got one.
All right, what do you got?
How would you like snakes in your toilet?
Like real snakes or rubber snakes?
Real snakes.
I don't think I want
Like
to.
as a
So
pet? Like
there
yeah,
was
I
a
just
news
wanna-
article in the New York Post. An Australian man realized his toilet was making funny noises, and it was hissing.
Okay, so it couldn't have been in the toilet bowl. Please tell me it wasn't in the toilet bowl. Was it in the toilet bowl to the
Well-
point where he was oblivious?
Yes, in the toilet bowl.
Okay, go on.
Anyway, he called some snake catchers, and they had to cut his plumbing to get the snake out.
How long was this fucking snake?
Well, it was a python, so it was a big snake.
It wasn't a baby python.
Nope.
We're talking like full adult python.
Yes. They figured that it crawled in the toilet because it was getting ready to shed and it needed moisture, and it helps them shed their skin more and easier if they're damp.
The nearest source of water is this guy's toilet?
Oh, it gets better. 3 days later, they found another one in his toilet.
This guy's got to talk to somebody.
Is he doing it on purpose?
No.
Like, how do you not see that there's a freaking snake in your toilet?
How do you get two snakes in your toilet?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did he plant them
well,
there?
I might be able to solve that for you because he called the same snake catchers to come. They took it out.
It was baby.
No, it was a male. The first one was a female. So he followed her scent to the toilet.
Okay.
Again, how do you not see a fucking snake? A python for that. Like, even before it goes into the toilet. At any, like, where's this guy taking a shit? That you would not see a snake in your fucking bathroom.
This had to
Is
get
it an outhouse?
It does not say.
Because that would be my only other assumption.
Why would they have to cut plumbing if it's an outhouse? There's no plumbing in an outhouse. This had to be a house toilet.
That's true.
It is Australia.
Oh, well, it's Australia. That place is fucking scary to begin with, okay?
Isn't there a guy that got beat up by a kangaroo in Australia?
I think there's a lot of people who've gotten their asses kicked by kangaroos. I'm pretty sure that
they're aggressive, but
yeah, I think if you go on YouTube and you look up guy gets his ass kicked by a kangaroo, there will be multiple videos. There might be drinking involved, but there's definitely gonna be a lot of videos.
So back to this fucking snake.
2 snakes. It is
Two
not
snakes.
us.
How do you not see either fucking snake?
Well, maybe there's a
I'm angry
family
now.
in there now, and there's probably more to this story, but this is all it said.
Okay, so let's talk about the first snake. Well, either snake. Let's talk about how did it get in the toilet? Did it come up the sewer pipe, which is extra scary? Or, like you said, was this thing just crawled through his front door one day and just found the toilet? And he just never noticed the snake just walking through it twice? Snakes just going through?
Twice.
Often
I have questions.
How often are people getting pythons up their sewer pipe system in Australia?
Oh, that just happened to me yesterday. No biggie.
Okie dokie. Where are we at? We are back to you, Stephanie. What do you got for us?
Okay. This is from AITA Relationships.
What is AITA?
Am I the asshole?
Oh, thank you.
I would have gotten there.
Oh, sorry. Am I doing that thing I do?
You're doing that thing. Yep.
Okay, I'll stop doing that thing. I'll do. I'll just
Stop
let you
doing
talk.
that thing you do.
You can talk.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
All right. Am I the asshole for no longer doing housework other than the bare minimum and cutting my husband off from sex?
Yes. We're done. All right, who's next? No. Let's see if we have a reasoning behind this.
Okay. Long story short, I got pregnant, worked a full-time job while going to nursing school, quit working and school to be a stay-at-home mom, breastfed my son for a year before getting pregnant with my daughter, while my husband agreed to do what he needed to do to provide for our family. He got a good job but got laid off, so now he took a night position at a job that doesn't cover all the bills. So now I make close to $2,000 a month on social media to help pay bills. When he has days off, he works.
I'm sorry. 2,000 a month on social media.
Yes.
What kind of social media do you think that is?
Oh, it could be anything.
Could be.
I'm assuming she's an influencer of some sort.
You're a better person than me. Because that's not what I was thinking.
How do you know she doesn't have a podcast about raising 2 children while your husband works?
Because I'm a horrible person, I immediately thought...
You thought dirty.
I thought OnlyFans. I immediately did. Okay, I'm sorry.
Maybe she sells feet pics.
We could connect her with the guy in Greece.
There you go.
See, look at us bringing people together. That's what we do.
It's a love connection.
Yes, weird love connection. All right, so I was rudely interrupting. Okay, where are you at?
Okay. When he has days off, he works 2 days on and 2 days off and works every other weekend. He expects to not be bothered while I deal with the kids, 2 under 2 and a teenager from his previous marriage. He says, quote, "A man doesn't clean house and wash laundry. That's a woman's job. You wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and have a second baby, but you can't handle it."
I'm starting to rethink my original comment. All right, this guy is a pecker. All right, keep going.
I told him over a year ago when my daughter was born that I needed a break. Mentally, I wasn't good. I was exhausted and don't even know my own favorite color anymore. He then told me, "What do you expect me to do about that? You just can't handle being a mom." It didn't matter what I did. He never acknowledged it, but only what I didn't get done. I 100% gave up on doing housework besides the bare minimum in taking care of our kids. He says I'm not being a good wife because men shouldn't have to work full time and still clean the house, and that no man in America does that.
That's a lie.
Right? I cut him off from sex unintentionally at first because I'm just too exhausted after being a mom 24/7 and then going live on social media to pay bills. But he used the lack of sex for the center of every argument now. He talks about sex so much that I literally told him to go have a one-night stand just so he would shut up about it. So anyways, am I the asshole for refusing to do anything than the bare minimum and cutting him off?
I gotta be honest, I just don't think this might be a healthy relationship anymore. I don't think either of them are in the right here, but dang, this guy is just digging his own grave. I will at least admit that. This guy is definitely fucking up.
Well, you got to remember, like, Nathan and I both did the shift work thing after Troy was born.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the same type of hours. It was 12 hours, 2 days on, 2 days off, plus raising a kid. But there was never an argument between us that was like, you know, he wasn't pointing the finger at me.
You didn't get the laundry done. The house is dirty, blah, blah, blah.
See, when I get home, I like cooking dinner. Cleaning up afterwards, that's the part I'm not very good at. But it doesn't mean I don't think
like
I
doing
have
dishes.
to. That's true. Oh, God,
Nobody in my house likes doing dishes but me.
You like doing dishes?
I don't mind doing dishes.
Oh, I hate dishes. I like cooking, but I don't like doing dishes.
Which is so funny because you don't ever hand wash them. You just need to put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. Even if you already have clean dishes in the dishwasher, it takes, what, maybe 5 minutes to unload it? And then
And load it
another
back
5
up.
minutes to load it back up. I feel like he just uses that as an excuse. I hate doing dishes. Because I have to clean up my own mess that I make. Especially when I spill shit everywhere when I'm cooking dinner.
Oh, yeah. I forget what it was. That was the Chinese thing I made.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The pot sticker.
The pot
The
sticker.
pot sticker, like...
Bowls.
Yes, pot sticker bowls. That was a disaster. There was cabbage and rice, and that was not good. That was not good. But I do not. All right, back to this one though. Back to this. This isn't about me. All right, back to this. Yeah. No, this guy dug himself his own grave, I think. And at the same time, neither one of these two are in the right anymore.
Yes. What kind of interesting facts do you have for us?
All right, guys. So this one came from us from a fan, which is quite impressive considering we've never actually aired an episode yet. This one comes from Amber H. And we're going to call it Celebrate Frozen Dead Guy Days in Colorado, USA. So this one, I did some digging. This was
No pun intended.
This one I did some digging, and the information I got comes from an article from CBS News, Wikipedia, uncovercolorado.com, and from the website of the festival itself, frozendeadguydays.com. So this is a festival that started in 2002 in Colorado in remembrance of Grandpa Brito Morstol. I think that's how I pronounce it. So here's what happened. This guy was in his home country of Norway and died in 1989 from a heart attack while cross-country skiing. Okay, nothing that weird yet. He's immediately packed on dry ice by his grandson, who had him shipped back to the USA to a frozen cryogenic facility in California where he stayed. So far, again, not weird. This is pretty normal stuff. But this is where it gets a little weird, is in 1993, the grandson decides he's going to take Grandpa out of the facility in California, have him packed back on dry ice, and then brought to his house in Nederland, Colorado. The reason behind this is the son and the mother, his mother, decided, hey, let's start our own cryogenic frozen facility. What a great idea, right? Like, you just do that. And the first thing you do is you start with Grandpa.
Because that's the first thing I think of to do is like, hey.
You know what? We don't need these guys. We can do this on our own.
Let's hope they didn't test drive it on any pets.
Oh, that got dark. Why does it seem creepier if they tried it on pets instead of grandpa? Is this like when you watch a movie and you always have to wonder, like, you hate it when a person dies in a movie? Well, it's just part of it. But when a pet dies, it's sadder. Why is that sadder? And is sadder a word?
Or sad.
More sad. Is sadder like funner? I don't know.
You
Okay.
use funner a lot, by the way.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
Oh, that's not good.
Not in this discussion, but
All
just
right.
in general conversation.
Okay, I'll have to work on that. I think that's something I could improve myself. Okay, so anyway, so they have this grandeur idea. And for about a year, he just keeps grandpa on dry ice at his house. But then all of a sudden, the grandson was deported. And I don't know why. I couldn't figure out if he was deported because like his visa ran out or some other reason. But okay, so grandson gets deported and he gives grandpa to his mom, saying, "Here, mom, take care of grandpa while I'm gone, would you?"
Until I can get back in.
Until I can get back in. Until we can get the facility going. You know, we got to work on the facility. So I don't know where they plan on getting the money to start this facility because mom doesn't exactly have her shit together either. So mom is keeping grandpa on dry ice in a shed in her backyard. And she eventually gets either evicted or maybe her house was condemned because it did not have electricity or working plumbing. So mom's not exactly living the life either.
Ugh.
Yeah. I feel like if you can't afford to get electricity and plumbing in your house, maybe the grandeur idea of starting your own cryogenic frozen facility is maybe a little out of your financial reaches.
I wonder if she had snakes in her toilet.
She didn't have a toilet. There's no plumbing. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe like damn python in the toilet. That's what happened. It just never got it fixed. So she decides the best option is she tells a local reporter about it and says, "Hey, I've got my dad frozen in my shed in the backyard, and I was wondering if anybody would want to maybe take care of him for me." Well, he runs with this story because this is a good story. In this town in Colorado, there has been a frozen dead guy from Norway for a couple of years, and nobody is aware of it. And, of course, the government finds out and is not happy. You might not believe this, but you probably need some permits to have a frozen dead guy in your backyard.
I'm surprised nobody asked about it earlier.
Like maybe the dry ice delivery guy would be like, "What do you use this for?" "Nothing.
I just like dry ice.
Just really like dry ice."
Truckloads of dry ice. I mean, I feel like that would be a cha-ching. Like, where are they getting the money to buy that?
All right. So anyway, eventually according to the Denver Post, the government decided to get involved, and she was found guilty by a jury of building use and zoning violations. The Netherlands town judge ordered her to remove the frozen body of her father by March 6th, 1995, or face 10 days in jail and a $600 fine, which, as we know, apparently for mom, $600 is a whole lot of money. So at that point, the city decides, you know what, apparently we have to put this rule on the books. And they passed a law saying it is illegal to store a dead body on your own property. Go figure. You know what? I don't think our Wisconsin town we live in here has that law. Maybe something we should look into. Can I store a dead body in my backyard? But here's the problem. So they passed this law, but by then this story had become such a huge thing, and there was suddenly a fan group of people that were all about this. They're like, this is the coolest shit ever. And with that, when the government passed this law saying it's illegal to store a dead body on your property, they actually had a grandfathered in rule for Grandpa Brito. So they said, nobody can store a dead body on your property, but Grandpa Brito gets to stay.
Is he on exhibit? Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just it. He became such a big thing that the Tough Shed brand, this company that makes sheds here in the United States, named Tough Shed, donated one of their sheds for storage of him to increase his setup, to make it look better for him. There's a sponsorship for Grandpa Burrito in his frozen body. At this point, like I say, this is a big news story in this town. The job of keeping Grandpa frozen was passed on to various people and businesses over the years. But eventually, in 2002, someone decided this thing is big enough, we're going to start a festival, and we're going to call it Frozen Dead Guy Days. Okay? We're recording this 2024. So for 22 years now, there has been a festival going on to celebrate this frozen dead guy kept in his shed on one of the properties.
I kind of want to go see it. I'm not going to lie.
Well, apparently,
Road trip.
apparently this festival is pretty freaking awesome because New York Times named the Frozen Dead Guy Days in its top 10 best parties of winter. And that list includes Mardi Gras in New Orleans and Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. So this festival is so awesome. It is ranked with 2 world famous parties. So obviously it's good.
Let's just hit up all 3 parties.
Let's just go to all the parties. All right. So Frozen Dead
We'll
Guy.
go to Rio first and then go to Mardi Gras and then check out this Frozen Dead Guy Festival.
Well, you got to save best for last.
Oh.
Right? You got to save best for last.
Always.
So this festival includes coffin races, a hearse parade, a Frozen Dead Guy look-alike contest, a polar plunge for any of our listeners that are not from the frozen worlds like we are. We're in Wisconsin here. If anyone who isn't, a polar plunge is where they literally cut a hole in an ice in a lake, and then people jump in it and then get back out freezing cold. A dance, my favorite part about the dance is it's called Grandpa's Blue Ball.
He just had 1 ball.
Well, you can't call it blue balls because it's a dance. It's a ball. Go to the ball. A pancake breakfast.
Is there a dress code?
That's a good question. Or do you wear your look-alike costume from the Frozen Dead Guy look-alike contest?
Huh.
See?
Or do you
I
just
don't
wear black?
Huh.
Or do you wear blue? Because it's blue ball.
So like I said, it also has a pancake breakfast and, because it's Colorado, a poetry slam. What festival isn't complete without a good poetry slam? Eventually, this festival is going on. 3 years into it, though, in 2005, the grandson and the mother actually filed a complaint against Netherlands involving money and naming rights. So now these two that have completely abandoned Grandpa's frozen body are like, wait, hold up. There's money involved.
You owe us?
We're the ones who put the dead guy in their shed. We deserve some compensation. This wouldn't happen if it wasn't because of us. So this festival is just rolling. It is a good time. In 2022, the town of Netherlands, like I said, this is where this guy is, says it has gotten out of hand and they can no longer handle it. They're like, this is too big. Our little town here in Colorado cannot handle the amount of awesomeness that is coming from this party. And we can't have it. So with that, at first it looked like the whole thing was getting canceled. All right. It doesn't. Instead, in 2023, Grandpa gets an upgrade. With permission from the grandson, Grandpa Burrito was moved by I can never fucking say it.
Cryogenic.
Grandpa's moved from a cryogenic Grandpa is moved by a cryogenic company that is in Colorado. It's not the grandson and the daughters, just a heads up. But a company moves him. It is driven to the Stanley Hotel's old ice house in Etz Park. Do you guys know what the Stanley Hotel is in Colorado?
No.
No? All right. The Stanley Hotel is the hotel that was the inspiration for Stephen King's book, The Shining. So the creepy frozen in winter hotel that was the inspiration for it.
Come play with us.
Yes, that one.
That's just weird now, knowing that there's... Anyways.
That hotel is now where they're storing Grandpa Burrito. They took his frozen body, put it in a sleeping bag. I don't know why, just because. And submerged him headfirst in liquid nitrogen. They've turned the ice house at the hotel into the first cryogenic frozen museum, and they now have the festival there since 2023.
So how many other bodies do they have in this museum?
I think just Grandpa Burrito. I think that's it. I think he's the only one.
Why head first?
Why a sleeping bag? Is he gonna get cold? And I looked at pictures, and it's a solid aluminum casket or whatever you want to call it. You can't see his face. If this was something where they would just have his head showing and it was a display thing, which is really fucking creepy, but it's not. They just I don't know what the purpose. Wait. Oh God, I think I know the purpose. They don't want to get him freezer burned. You don't, because that's the whole idea is with things that you have to insulate things in a freezer, otherwise they get freezer burned.
Well, yeah, I think they have to be kept at a certain temperature when it's the See, now I can't say it. The
Cryogenic?
See, I keep saying Cairo. It's cryo.
Cryo, yes.
Cryogenic.
See? Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what the purpose of the sleeping bag is either, other than maybe so it doesn't get freezer burn. So yes, guys, I think this is something we definitely need to do. I want to go to the Grandpa Blue Ball.
I need to know if any listeners have ever been to this festival.
Yes.
Because it'd be great to hear feedback.
Oh, yes. How good of a time is this? So we go
If it's
there.
that great, then yes, I say we definitely plan a trip.
And you get to stay at the Stanley Hotel, which is the creepy hotel from The Shining. I feel like this is a whole thing. And if that isn't weird, I don't know what is.
When does this festival take place? Like in the summer, winter?
It's got to be sometime in winter because they do the pull it plunge. They cut a hole in the ice.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah.
I think it's March. I think if I remember doing my research, I think it looks like it's March. So there was still snow on the ground, but some had melted, it looked like. So I'm guessing.
I'm just asking because it's Colorado and they get snow in September. So
it's a good point. I'm pretty sure it was March. Anyway, guys, that is the story of the frozen dead guy days in Colorado. And I think we should go.
Deal.
Mm-hmm.
We're in.
I'm just reading some state laws here. Did you know that you can get a permit to do a cremation on private land?
You can cremate
somebody on your own land?
No person may cremate a human corpse unless the person has received a cremation permit from the appropriate county coroner or medical examiner under Wisconsin statute.
Do you want to cremate somebody you know?
I was researching to see like if there was laws on.
I guess.
Did you know that you have to change the dry ice every 24 hours? That came up on my Google search when I was looking.
I am pretty sure that your Google history is going to be really messed up. I don't know what kind of ads you're going to get anymore. Or if you're now on an FBI watch list.
She's going to get things on Facebook, about self-cremation things.
All right. If I get a call from the FBI, I don't know you. I have no idea who she is. Never heard of her. Nothing.
Yeah. Dry ice is applied on different parts of the body, which freeze on contact -96 degrees. The ice must be changed every 24 hours. That's preservation of the body before placement in a coffin. Just a fun fact.
Let's see. I believe you are up, Misty. What do you got for us?
Well, this one comes from the New York Post. The headline states, "I'm mom of 8 dolls. I breastfeed them and take them everywhere."
Please tell me dolls is a code word for actual live children.
I don't think
No.
it is.
Nope, not at all. As a 28-year-old woman in New York has spent $2,000 on 8 realistic dolls.
Like Chucky.
Kinda. She says she breastfeeds them, makes them breakfast, takes them everywhere with her.
Okay. How do you breastfeed a doll?
I don't know. I really don't. Her youngest dolls, she breastfeeds them and now bottle feeds them by making milk with flour and water.
I don't
I
know.
really have like no words for this.
I
right now.
don't. Okay. All right. So I feel horrible just trying to think about how this woman is breastfeeding dolls. I don't know. This woman is just pushing a doll against her nipple to see what happens. This is weird.
Well, maybe she buys the little tubes. You know, they make these little tubes for men, stay-at-home dads with moms who breastfeed. Tape them to your nipple, and the suction is like breastfeeding.
It's a doll. It doesn't suck.
How do you know it's a realistic doll?
Yeah, I don't. I guess you're right. I don't know how realistic this doll is.
It could pee and poop too.
Oh, didn't they have those? Okay, they had those. Wasn't there a doll like 2000s, whatever? There's like My Real Baby or My Real Doll or something like that?
Yes, and you could make baby food and feed them as well.
Oh, gosh.
With diapers where they peed and pooped.
Is that similar to like the baby that you would get in parenting class?
Pretty much.
It's been a long time since I was in a parenting class in high school. So
We didn't have to do the doll. Did you have to do the parenting class and the parenting
I did
thing?
the parenting class and I had to take the baby home for a weekend.
When we were in high school, ours was an optional class to take where they had the dolls.
I think mine was part of family consumer ed.
When she's out in public, sometimes she does get negative comments from people.
Well, how surprising.
And
I am shocked by
And
that.
some people think she's weird. Couldn't imagine how or why.
That doesn't seem right. Some people are so mean. Like, why would you think that's rude?
I just think it's
Well, my
rude.
question
mean.
is if these
Or
dolls
weird.
are that realistic, how would they know if it was real or not?
I don't know.
So there's images, but my security's like, red flag.
Your marketed advertising is going to be the most fucked up stuff. I don't even know what you're going to get, but between searching on how to deal with a dead body and realistic looking dolls, this is not going to go well.
Yes, I probably will get some pretty fucked up things on my Facebook
Oh, good God.
or Amazon recommendations. You know, when you go on Facebook and like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are
here are some Amazon recommendations.
Dolls, diapers, all the
Okay.
same.
So this woman got backlash.
Yep.
I think that's
Still
it.
doesn't.
Find
Does
the
it
car.
say how long she's been doing this?
It does not.
Does she have like full on like baby equipment, like a stroller and car
They all have
seats?
cribs, car seats, strollers, bottles. I wouldn't doubt it if she tries to breast pump. I don't know about the breast pump part. But yes, all the baby equipment, toddler equipment is all there.
Even like rash ointment
AD ointment? Probably.
That's got to be weird. Could you imagine?
and nipple cream.
That's gotta
If
be
she breastfeeds, I mean, she does need the nipple cream. Those babies get sore.
I suppose that's got to be weird as all hell. You go over to your friend's house, and at first you're like, "Okay, she got this thing. We'll be cool. We're not going to judge." But then you get to the house, and there's all kinds of stuff that just screams "baby in the house," and there's no baby in the house. Oh, that is just so awkward. Nope.
I don't. That.
Yeah. Again, no words. So, all right, guys. I think that's all we got time for today. With that, if you guys like the episode, please review us. Subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify or iTunes or whatever podcasting streaming service you like to use. Leave a comment. These are all things that are going to help people find us and help us get noticed. Also, we are going to be on Facebook. We're on TikTok. If you have any ideas for contents or if you have any questions for us at all.
Or even if you have your own story that you want us to share.
Yeah, if you have your own story, maybe you're weird. You can tell us. Email us. The email address is weirdwithsideofbacon@gmail.com. Again, weirdwithsideofbacon@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.
Bye.